Hey guys, do you question your flirting skills because you don't know how to flirt with any woman, never mind the one you really like? Do you cringe at yourself after walking away from talking to her? Or do you avoid flirting altogether because it just feels so awkward? If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone, my friend. The truth is, some men are naturals and do know how to flirt with just about any woman. But flirting doesn't come naturally to most guys, or women for that matter. And even if you are the most confident guy with most women, as soon as you get around your crush, the one you really like, you're often at a loss for words. But you don't need to worry, because if you are struggling with flirting, by the end of this video, you'll know 6 ways to master flirting and the one thing you should never overdo. If you're new to my channel, welcome to Just the Tip Tuesday. All right, let's look at these in reverse order leading up to the most important flirting tip. Number 6, be confident. Obviously, this one's not a big surprise, but yes, it is challenging. Unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, to learn how to flirt with any woman, confidence is so critical. You need to either be or seem confident. The good news is confidence is a skill you can learn. Okay, now I'm going to give you a confidence hack in a minute, but just know that the more you fake it, the quicker you make it. In other words, the beauty of confidence is the more you act like you're confident, even if you're not quite there yet, the sooner you will actually start to feel confident. And we're going to go over physiology and psychology because, key point, our physiology affects our psychology and our psychology affects our physiology. What do I mean by this? Glad you asked. Basically, even if you don't feel confident, if you act as if you are, play the role, your body starts to incorporate that feeling and you actually start to believe you're confident. It doesn't happen overnight, obviously, but it does happen or can happen. And again, I'm going to give you some more tips for how to do this, how to build confidence in a way that is natural and easy. Okay, but here's a key point. Successful confidence building, like any skill, does require the investment of taking uncomfortable and unfamiliar action, not just thinking about it. But let's look at something simple that you can do that's practical. So, for example, stand up straight, shoulders back, take up space, maintain good posture. This is your physiology part. When you do that, it sends a message to your brain that you're confident. Now, you might not believe your brain just yet, but you're going to notice a difference between if you're standing up straight with your shoulders back, taking up space, than if you're hunched over and basically trying to hide within yourself. Try it. Try it right now. I dare ya. Also, practice not fidgeting so much. Fidgeting makes you look nervous because that means you are nervous. So if you can't stop fidgeting or if you're not sure if you really are or not, stick your hands in your pockets until you can overcome that glitch and be calm enough to use them for number 2. Coming up. Now, in tip number 4, when we get there, I'm going to give you a confidence tip that will help you feel and seem confident without overdoing it. Number 5 is a bit scary for a lot of guys. Make and hold eye contact. I know. Now, I know this one is really intimidating for a lot of guys. Let's say you see a woman that you like, or it's someone that you already know that you like, and you're looking at her, and she catches you looking. So what do? You quickly look away. You don't want her to think that you're some creepy stalker guy, of course, but it shows a lack of confidence. But if you can gather up the courage to maintain eye contact for 3 seconds, which seems like an eternity when you're in it, she will see that as both confident and you showing interest. She's got to know you're interested. Now, a way to make this easier than just staring her down for 3 seconds, which does feel like a long time, is when she actually locks eyes with you, then you're going to nod, smile, or wave. If you know her and she maintains that eye contact, especially if you think she might be interested but you're not sure, you can wink at her. Now, you only use the wink if you're feeling bold and really confident, and it's not going to screw up your relationship with her, especially if it's somewhere where it could be awkward if she doesn't have a reciprocal interest. But if you do wink, then you're going to laugh a little under your breath because it's kind of audacious. But throwing in a smile, nod, or wave reduces the intensity of those 3 seconds and makes it not so creepy. And if she has a positive response, like blushing or smiling or giggling, smile or laugh, like you're amused by her reaction, that shows confidence and makes her want to talk to you. However, don't continue to stare her down. Either walk over to her or wave her over to come and talk to you. Eye contact is a way to further fascinate her and let her know in a subtle but confident way that you're interested. So let her catch you looking at her. And yes, this can work on a woman you've never met or the crush you've known for a long time. That's changing the dynamic. Maybe you've been in the friend zone for far too long. And if you can be playful about it, then tip number 4 naturally follows. Humor. Flirting is all about building sexual tension in a fun, playful, non-threatening way. Save the mysterious bad boy stuff for when you've already seduced her, she feels safe with you, and you want to take it to a different level. In the meantime, just be fun, playful, and not too intense, and you'll get a lot further with a high-value woman of any age. Now, some restrictions do apply for using a sense of humor. Let's look at some examples. Don't overdo joking. If you joke too much, it's going to feel like you're trying too hard, and it's going to fizzle her flame of attraction. More on that in a minute. Also, beware of overly self-deprecating humor. Humbleness is actually very attractive, but when you don't know her very well or you use it with humor, it can actually show you don't value yourself. So, my tip is to only use self-deprecating humor if you're actually joking about something that's a positive about yourself. Never joke about something that can easily be perceived by yourself or others as a negative or that you are actually insecure about. And if she throws a barb at you, which women will sometimes do, if they're testing you or just to see how you react or just to be playful, never react, never defend. Turn it around into a positive. For example, let's say you're the same height as her or maybe a little shorter, and she says, well, I don't really date guys who aren't taller than me when I wear heels. Okay, all right, that's an objection. More on objections in a minute. You can playfully say, doesn't really matter when a couple's horizontal. That's bold, but it should make her laugh. If it doesn't make her laugh, she's not interested anyway. If she does laugh, she appreciates your confidence. You passed that test. If she doesn't laugh, no loss. Next. But don't keep talking about that perceived flaw, especially if it is something you're sensitive about. Move on like it wasn't a real objection at all. At the same time, you want to avoid insulting her. Just like the barb might have been playful, but it kind of had a little poke of hurt in it, you don't want to make her feel bad about herself because she's going to associate those feelings with being with you. If she associates feeling bad with being with you, that's not going to build attraction unless she's damaged. And I'm pretty sure you don't want an emotionally damaged woman, right? So always laugh with her, not at her. Now again, it can be easy to lean on humor as a crutch, so you don't want to overdo it. If you're not sure and you need some guidance, let's use the rule of thumb of maybe up to 3 funnies within an interaction. You might start with a funny because you want her to laugh right away when you first meet her in the first few minutes of your interaction. Maybe you throw one in, slip it in the middle, and then maybe at the end as a bookmark of another laughter, because what? Laughter releases endorphins, feel-good endorphins, and she associates that with being with you. Now, a way to avoid insulting her, but to keep the tension alive, which you need to have the tension alive in order to be able to build attraction, is to use tip number 3, tease her. I've done a couple videos on teasing, but let's give you some extra information in this one. So you want to mess with her a little bit, not in a mean way, but just in a way that's playful and makes her want to kind of push you or shove you a little bit, just playfully, not seriously. Now, the way to do this is to deliver the tease with a bit of a compliment in it. I want to take a woman on a little bit of a roller coaster ride. Why women need stimulation, and tapping into various different emotions in an interaction is going to make her feel stimulated. And I'm going to share a little bit more about best and worst compliments later. But generally, if you think it's going to hurt her feelings, don't say it. You can always find something to tease about no matter what you're talking about. For example, let's say she says she has a sister. You can playfully nudge her and say, is she as hot as you? Or depending on how old you are and what's appropriate in the context, you might be able to say, is she as beautiful as you? Is she single? Is she as smart as you? Is she single? Is she as cute as you? Is she single? Whatever compliment is sincere about the girl you're talking to or the woman you're talking to, but then you're saying, hey, maybe your sister's better. Now, if she likes you or she's easygoing, she should laugh at this because you're not serious. You're obviously interested in her, not her sister, hopefully. But at the same time, you slip that compliment in because you said hot, smart, beautiful, cute, whatever it is that you've stuck in there. She knows you're talking about her. Now, if she doesn't take it the right way, or maybe you didn't deliver it very well because you're practicing and she doesn't have the best reaction, you can go, too much? Yeah, I thought it was too much. So you kind of laugh at yourself in that moment because you both know you're trying to be funny, but if she doesn't laugh, then it needs to be patched up a little bit. But if she does like you or not to dislike you and she has a sense of humor, she should laugh and maybe give you a playful little shove like, ha ha. Just roll with it. Let's look at another example. This one, just about anybody will be able to use. So let's say she asks you how old you are. You want to exaggerate your age by about 30 years, more or less. So let's say you're 67. You can say, oh, 37, life's been rough. Or let's say you're 37. You can say 67 and wink. If it's an obvious exaggeration, she should laugh. But, and here's a key point, if she asks again, then you want to give her the truthful answer. Don't keep throwing out the tease forever after because that can actually get tedious and annoying. So she says, okay, but how old are you really? Well, if you're 67, you might say, actually, I'm 67, but I don't feel a day over 65. Or, I'm only 37. Are you disappointed? Now, in this case about the age question, you definitely want to exaggerate to a point where it's very obvious because otherwise she might just think you're lying to her. Or she won't get it and it'll be like, okay, is he serious or is he not serious? So it has to be exaggerated enough that anyone looking at you would be like, no. And if you're getting pretty good at teasing, then it's a great accompaniment to the next tip for how to flirt with any woman. Tip number 2, touch her. Of course, touch is one of the greatest flirting techniques of all time because it breaks that intimacy barrier. You actually can't overdo it if you're touching her appropriately and gauging her reaction. And if you aren't using touch to flirt, then you're missing out on a great opportunity to build sexual tension that's absolutely necessary if you want to build attraction and not a friendship. For example, when you leave the interaction, touch her shoulder and give her a little squeeze. That little squeeze isn't going to hurt her, but it's going to show your masculine strength. Men have a much greater grip strength than women, even if you're about the same size. I think it's about 30%. Or give her an elbow a knock when you are busy teasing her. But don't put your arm around her unless you can tie it into a joke that's really appropriate. And remember, put your arm around her if you are going to do this like she's a bratty little sister. Of course, don't touch any part of her body inappropriately, because this is an instant turnoff if she's not ready, willing, and wanting it. In the beginning, you want to play it a little bit more safe because you don't want to get in trouble, but also it will turn her off. So you let her advance a little bit in the beginning and then you back off. Now, or you can advance a little bit, but if she resists, then you back off and take it back down a few levels until she progresses touch. But in general, your touch should be light, random, and playful, and it should send a little message, the message that you're interested in her, but you're not creepy. Now, the next tip might surprise you. Tip number 1, be very careful with sarcasm. Now, if you find someone who's got the same sarcastic sense of humor as you, then that's great. But what can sometimes happen is, even if she has the same sense of sarcasm as you do, in the beginning, it actually just looks mean-spirited, whether it's directed at her or someone else. So, of course, your conversation does need to have tension. Sarcasm can have serious undertones. Well, it does, really. So if you're not naturally a sarcastic person or you're not really good with sarcasm, then you want to avoid it altogether. If your sense of humor is sarcastic, then save it maybe for a little bit later once you've already built a bit of a playful, fun, intriguing, and positive interaction with her. So maybe that's your last bit of humor, or maybe you save it for next time. And always keep in mind that flirting doesn't have to be overly complicated, overly dramatic. It can be simple and natural. And you don't have to use all of these tips. You choose the ones that feel most natural for you and work with that. You can always expand later if you feel adventurous. Now, What about compliments? Oh my gosh, almost all guys get compliments wrong, especially if the woman is beautiful. Often you go in focusing on her looks, just like every other guy does. But if you want to actually stand out from all the guys who she's rejected because of that and other reasons, then you want to use a different technique for complimenting her, one that's far more effective and plays into her deeper emotions. So if you want to know how to do that, then watch my video, How to Compliment Women. And if you found this video interesting or helpful, then please give it a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for being here. God bless.